Welcome back. Today is a free draw or a free model, and so I'm going to be making a rubber duck. Start by deleting the default cube. The reason I'm making a rubber duck, if you remember from the wave video, is that one of the reasons I'm learning how to model is to explain some of the science that I've been learning and try and kind of convey it to other people. And that science is something called interferometry, which is a way that we can combine signals that are coming from the same source, so like from the same star or from the same planet, that arrive at different either antennas or satellites. And once we get all of those together, we can kind of combine it into one data set. That's probably sounds very complicated, and it kind of is, but the key to understanding that is waves and ducks. And I'm not going to go through the whole explanation today. Eventually, you'll probably see a video on this channel where I do explain it. But for the time being, I want to create a duck to do that. So we're going to start by making our duck, starting with the head. So here is the head. I'm going to, actually, let's, instead of moving it, I need to, I don't want it to be as high res as it is. So let's reduce the segments to maybe 16 and the rings to 8 or something, just so it's a little less high res. And then we're gonna cut it in half because we are gonna eventually use a mirror modifier, and so there's no reason. Oops, before we do that, let's make sure we're on X-ray mode. Since we're eventually going to use a mirror modifier, there is no reason to have these vertices. So we just start with half of a head, and then before we get off of this side, I'm also going to delete this bottom vertice. And the reason we're going to do that is so we can create a neck. And so before we create the neck, let's first add the mirror modifier. So we're going to select all. We're going to come over here to the modifiers tab, and we're going to add a mirror modifier. This mirror modifier is going to be over the x-axis, and we're going to check clipping so that whenever these vertices from the second half are used, we don't have a double vertice. So if clipping is not enabled, we'll have two vertices at like this location. We'll have one from the right half, one from the left half. If you enable clipping, then if anything is within this merge distance, 0.01 meters, it will become one vertice. And because these are within 0.01 meters, they're in fact 0 meters apart, they become the same object. Okay. So now we have this, and we can create this edge loop. So to select the edge loop, let's go to 2. Let's select this by hitting Control click, or Control, oh, what is it? It's Alt click. There we go. And then we will extrude down, and we're going to extrude along the z-axis. And we'll do this 2 times. So that we'll do it the first time, and then we'll do it one more time. And the second one will become the body. And so to make it the body, we can use S to size it up. Okay, something like that maybe. And then we can keep doing what we were doing before, extrude down. We'll extrude down pretty far for this one. It's going to look a little weird for now, but don't worry. Oh, it's going to look very weird. What happened here? Okay, we don't want that. So when we do when we size this up, why is it doing that? Okay, maybe we can go like this and then GX or something, or GY, X probably. Huh. I don't like this part, what's happening here, but we can adjust it afterwards. I guess it's not a huge deal right now. Let's just keep it like this. Then we'll extrude in the Z direction. Okay, so now we've extruded in the Z direction, and let's add a bunch of edge loops. So we'll do that by clicking any one of these vertical lines that go down the part we just extruded, and we will hit Control R to create some edge loops, and we'll scroll up, and maybe let's have if we make 6 edge loops. So we'll do this, and then right click so that they're in the default position so that everything's equally spaced and they're roughly spherical. Okay, we now have this general shape that we want to make into a body. So what we can do is we can select go into X-ray mode, come to the front, select all of these, and we'll move it along the x-axis, kind of like that. Is that what I want? Yeah. And then we can take, let's look from the side, select all of these, and move these along the y-axis, kind of like this. Maybe not. Something like that, maybe. Oh, what? Why did it do that? EY. Okay, we didn't select this, my bad. Let's make sure we have all these faces selected. And extrude along Y. We're just trying to get a general shape of a duck. And we can extrude all of these out as well in the Y direction. And right now it might look a bit bad, but we'll fix that up by adjusting some of these vertices, I think. So what we can do is we go to vertice mode, and we can take a vertice and then use G, and that'll allow us to move it. If we double click G, then it kind of moves along the lines that we already had, so that can help. So we'll do that a couple times up here just to try and make some better topology. I'm still learning the rules of good topology and all that kind of stuff, so forgive me, Blender experts. I know I'm probably making some mistakes, but I'm trying my best. I'm hoping to learn more as I go along. So we'll select these, and now I think if we hit double G, we can kind of go like this, and this will allow us to make some better topology. So let's select here. And what we're trying to do right now is just kind of create the general shape of our duck. So for this, maybe we can go like in a little bit, and our duck will curve up. Let's see. Let's take this edge loop and inset it, or no, maybe fill, something like that. And to make sure we have good topology, maybe we can go like this, and like that, and like this. That's a try, but I think that's acceptable. Okay, let's now select U. Let's go, we're finished with our knives. Let's go like that. Don't want this one selected. And let's kind of, if we look from the top, we can go like this. Try and make it a little more curved, and then we'll select this one as well, or these vertices. Go back to the top view, use G, and try and kind of create that general curve shape. Okay, so now we have that. We want to create the curve of the body. So rubber ducks usually aren't flat on the bottom, they usually curve up. And so what we can do now is we can use proportional editing. So we'll take, let's go into X-ray mode, take the bottom right vertice, go up to the top, or hit O to turn on proportional editing. It's this right here. And then we'll use G, move our sphere of influence about, so it goes about halfway up the body of the duck, and then we can kind of go like something like this. Actually, instead of doing that, let's take our top one first, and let's kind of move up like that. And then we can take this and move it in and up. And then we'll do the same with this vertice. Just move it in and up a little bit. And maybe the same with this vertice. In and up. Maybe we'll take this one and move it out just a little bit without proportional editing. Oops. Just to create this better rounded shape with a bit of the tail coming up. if we take this, turn it on, turn proportional editing on, and then go like that, just kind of create this like tail feather effect. Okay. Okay, let's take a break from the body for a sec and do the face and the beak. So for the beak, we'll take this face and we'll extrude it along the Y direction. And then we can size it down a little bit. Let's turn proportional editing off for that. Size it a bit down because beaks come to a point. We'll keep going. We'll do the same thing here. Size it down. And maybe we'll move it up along the Z-axis. And one last extrude, just a small one. Get it way smaller so it almost comes to a point. Look from the side. Use G and Z to move it up so that we have this little point right there. Okay, I think also for the sake of making it a distinct feature, what we can do is we can take, if we Alt select, or no, we Shift select U, U, E, and U, and then we can Control B to add a bevel, I think. Yeah, something like this. And so it looks like the beak is kind of coming from the body. Okay. Let's now go back to the, let's make the eyes first. We can select, I think, is this a good, yeah. Take U, inset a little bit. Inset again. Let's then, what is this? Is it Shift Control A? There's some way we can make it like more circular, but I forget exactly how to do that. I'm pretty sure it's either like Alt S or Alt Shift S or Alt Shift A. Okay, well, whatever. For now, we'll keep it like this, I suppose. We might need more vertices. It might be like one of these things where you have to create more, but then it ruins the topology, and I'm not entirely sure how to deal with that. I know there's like a way you can make a good pattern, but let's keep it a square for now while we work on the rest of the body. Okay, let's go back to vertice select mode, and we'll come to the front, and we'll select U, U, and U. Maybe like that. GZ. Oh, maybe not like that. Maybe when we use G, let's really reduce the sphere of influence just so it doesn't hit the head as much. Do that. Maybe size it down a little bit. And we'll do the same thing down here. We can select the bottom section, size it down a little bit, move it up, move it in, and then we'll do some micro adjustments on this one without the proportional editing. Something like this. We can move this out a little bit. All I'm doing here is just trying to get kind of a smooth curve coming down from the front. And we can even move these in a little bit to create more of that curve. Let's move these down. If you want to learn how to make a much better duck, there are a lot of tutorials you can look up on YouTube. I thought about like just copying one of those tutorials, but I was like, the purpose of these models is to try and get me better. And copying a tutorial will absolutely make you better, but there's also the problem solving that goes into like figuring out how to fix mistakes you make when you work by yourself. Is another way of like improving. So I'm kind of working on that for today, but obviously in the future I'll have maybe some more videos that are me going through tutorials and learning from them. which is probably less entertaining for you all if you're watching this video. I imagine it's probably more entertaining to see people fail and learn. Or maybe not. I don't know. I don't know why people would watch these videos in the first place. I'm kind of just a guy, I'm only making these videos for now as like homework assignments. And when I watch other people's assignments, like no one talks in their videos, and it makes me a little self-conscious because I'm like, well, what if people watch this? I'm the only person talking. But I don't know. I like the stream of consciousness vibe, and it keeps me on track sometimes, or it just gives me an excuse to kind of zone out and into whatever I'm talking about. Okay, this is a roughly circular shape. I think okay, it looks a bit weird, but I think that's okay. What if we add some edge loops here? Can we do that? Something like that. That might be nice. And if we're doing that, then maybe we'll move over this edge loop like that. And then we can do this and move that over a little bit. Or maybe not, something like that. Okay. And this will allow us to kind of add more of that curved shape by going to the top and selecting these vertices. And let's move it down. And let's do the same with these vertices. Maybe turn proportional editing on for this one. Or maybe we would want a small sphere of influence, at which point it's probably not even doing anything. Whatever. Okay. We have the general shape of our duck now. Let's fix up this section. I don't really know what's going on here. I mean, I do know what's going on there. I made some poor decisions when I was setting up the topology. Something like that. Now let's fix up these as well, just so we have a bit of a flatter bottom. Something like that, and maybe move you up as well. Okay, so now we have the general body shape of our duck, and let's make a wing. So to make the wing, what we'll do, first let's add maybe a subdivision surface modifier to make it smoother. Subdivision surface modifier. I think we can do that by hitting, if you hit Control and then either 1, 2, 3, or 4, something like that, it'll create a subdivision surface modifier that has that level of, what's it called? That level of refinement? Okay, maybe not. I thought that was how it worked. Okay, well, regardless, we can do it like this, at least. Subdivision surface. And let's do it like 2, maybe, something like that, just to make it smooth. Okay, with that being said, oh, now we can't really see this, so that's probably a good sign that we want to move it out a little bit, just to get a little smoother. Then maybe we'll move these 2 in. I oftentimes get carried away with like these small micro adjustments. In the grand scheme of things, they're very unimportant. And I can realize that and still do it anyways, which is, I don't know what that says about me, but it says something. Okay, let's take I don't know, maybe these can be good for a wing, and we'll extrude it out in the, oh, where's our directions? Okay, we'll extrude it out in the X direction. Something like that. And if we want to make it a little more refined, what we can do, I think, is add an edge loop. If we go here, and maybe if we add it like close, I think, to the body, does that help with the, maybe if you size it down, something like without the proportional editing, something like that. Okay, let's take this vertice, and yeah, I guess just this vertice, and we want to kind of move it up into the back. So G, Y, move it all the way out here, GZ, all the way up here, and maybe we'll move this one out too, GY. Okay, this creates that kind of wing shape to the duck. Okay, I think that's good for now. I still really want to make this circular. I'm not sure how to circularize it though. I'm pretty sure you need at least 8 vertices for a circle. So let's try and use the knife tool. I don't know if this is how you're supposed to do it, but actually, I'm very confident this is not how you're supposed to do it, but that's the only way I can think of doing it right now that I think might have a chance of working. So let's see. Okay, so now we have, we have 8. And so I think if I select that edge loop, and now is it Control Shift A? No. Is it Control Shift S? Oh, there it is. Hell yeah, dude. That's what's up. Okay. I knew there was some way of doing that. Okay, and then let's inset maybe one more time. And now we can take this edge loop and Control Shift A. Control Shift S, S, S. Okay. Perfect. Something like that. Alright. So now we have our eye, we have our beak, we have our wing. Now let's add some color. So we can do that by going into material mode. We'll create a new material. This material is for everything, and the color is going to be the yellow, like plastic duck yellow. So maybe something like this. Let's make the roughness lower because it's made out of plastic. I think there's some way of what's it called? Adding like a shininess color, but I forget exactly how to do it. I'm pretty sure it was a subsurface. No, was it subsurface? Damn, dude. I always forget these things right when it's time to do them. Was it a mission? No, I don't think it was. Oh wait, but if it was a mission, it would have to... Oh, maybe it is a mission. Okay, so we can add the second... I guess this is the color that we're emitting. How does that... But that's different than our actual color. What if we go to like 0.5? Does that change anything? Is it IOR? I don't know. I kind of like this color. Okay, we now want to make our beak color. So let's come here, new color. We want to select, we'll go to the side to select everything and make sure we're on wireframe mode, and we'll select all of this. And then we also want to select our extra guys that we made right here. Make sure that's all selected, it should be. And with that, come down to here. We want it to be maybe like a closer to orange reddish. Nice, okay. Why does it go all the way out to here? That's interesting. What if we set this back to yellow? Now it only goes to there, but I prefer that to it going, well, do I prefer it to... Huh. I don't know why this is happening. Let's just keep it like that. I think that's fine. Okay, let's create some new colors for the eye. So first color will be black. And that is for, let's say that's for you. We'll take you, and you're gonna be white. Oops, you're gonna be white all the way. And maybe we can size you down a little bit. Okay, I guess you got stars for eyes. That could look cool. And then if we choose this edge loop, we can set that. Would it look good if we set it to orange? Not really. The white? Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. No, I'll just keep it at yellow. I think that's fine. Okay, so we have the eyes. I think I want to make the eyes bigger, so let's use C to select all of these. And we'll size it up to here. We just don't want any clipping. Okay, so now we have our eyes, we have our beak, we have our wings. Maybe we'll change the color on the wings to be a slightly different color, like for the feathers or whatever. So to do that, we can select that edge loop, and then use C to select the rest. And let's make a new color for that. We can make this color the same as that color by choosing this and then hitting new material. So now we have a copy of our initial material. That was something I struggled with in a previous video, trying to make sure I had a copy that was of the same material, and I couldn't figure it out. But that's how you do it. You take the first material, you make a new material using plus, use the browse materials to select the same material, and then once you've selected it, hit new material, and it'll keep the same properties but make it a new material that you can now change. Let's make it maybe a little closer to orange. Just move it down ever so slightly and maybe make it slightly darker, and then hit assign. So now we have these wings. And what else can we do? I think that's pretty good. Maybe let's make it a bit brighter and a bit more yellow. I don't want it to be quite as far off from the rest of the body. Okay, maybe I don't like the look of this side profile, so if we go to wireframe mode, maybe let's select all of the vertices that are down here and kind of move them up just ever so slightly, kind of like that. Maybe not like that. Maybe let's turn on proportional editing before we do that so we don't get any overlap. Something like this. Does that mess with anything? I think that's fine. I think this is a good sign. Whenever you can't see a vertice, that's a good sign that it's not rounded, because if it was rounded outwards, you probably would be able to see it. So let's fix that up by going like this. That vertice is towards this part of the duck, so we basically want to hit G and then pull out in that direction ever so slightly. You can do the same thing down here. Can't even really see it when I'm doing it, but oh, that's okay. Maybe something like this. Okay, now we have our duck. There's different ways you can make plastic ducks in the real world, but I think the most common one is, oh my god, what is the technique called? Basically where you have a mold and then you fill it with molten plastic before it solidifies by using like the liquid properties of it. And usually if that happens, you're left with either a seam that runs down the entirety of the duck or a hole at the bottom. So I was thinking of making like a hole at the bottom, and I think how would we do that? Can you you can't inset that. Use the knife tool. It's not probably the intended purpose of it, but I think it's fine. Just trying to think about how I'd go about this without ruining the topology. I think I can go like this to here, to here, to here, to here. You might be saying, well, now you have n-gons here, but I think if I go like this, that can fix that up. And then likewise, if I go like that, that makes it so there's less n-gons. Oh, fuck. God damn it, dude. I always do this. Instead of hitting enter, I hit escape. I don't know why I did that. That's very stupid of me. Let's go back and do it again. Okay, enter this time. There we go. This vertice is kind of making me worry a little bit. Just use G like that. Something like that. Look from the side, make sure it looks okay. all this stuff can probably be moved up like that, so it's pretty flat. Okay, now let's try and make this whole, oh, maybe not as far up as we moved it. Why does it clip like that? Okay, whatever. It's not a big deal. Then we go like this again, use K and make that. Okay, and then I think what we need to do is accept the mirror modifier, and in order to do that we need to be in object mode. And we go back to edit mode, and we select this edge loop. Oh, not that edge loop. Control Shift S. Let's try and make it a bit more circular. I don't know why that vertice in particular is being so weird. Let's select it and move it. Oh, let's move it without that. Shift Z so that we're moving it along the same plane without moving it up or down. Okay. And then let's select U, and U, and do a big inset. And then we'll make those black. And we can make these a new like grayish color. Why are we playing an animation right now? I'm not quite sure why that's happening. Give me a sec. Stop. Okay, and then we'll make these maybe a slightly darker gray. So make a new one. Choose the same gray, hit new, take this, move it down, hit assign. Okay. I guess because of the topology, it makes it look a little bigger than it needs to be. Let's not do that then. Let's just keep it like this with these. And maybe we'll take these. Again, this vertice is being annoying. I just want this one. G, Shift Z, move you. No, not you. Just you. Yes. G, Shift Z, move you down. Okay. With that, I can maybe move you now G and Z and move you up. So there's kind of like that indentation that most of these ducks have on the bottom of them. And with that, we have our duck. So now we can render. And before we render, let's take the entire duck. Let's move it up by using G and Z. Let's place it on some water maybe. So go into object mode, Shift A, add a plane. I'm not going to add waves for this one, but in the future we can add waves. We have that. Make a new material. Make it blue. Some aqua blue or something. Watery. Oh, not like that. Okay. Have that. We have our light. Let's change our light to an area. That should be good. And we hit O to view our guy. We can use Shift tilde to position our camera to view the duck. And we now have our duck. So now it still looks a bit blocky, so maybe we'll go to our modifiers and we'll add a second subdivision surface modifier. And that should, yeah, clear it up if we had it set it to 2.2. Okay, very nice. Let's render by hitting F12. And there is our duck. So that's pretty good. Alright, so in the future I will make a video about interferometry where I explain it using the duck wave analogy. I know I promised you now twice. I promise it is coming. So look forward to that, and until then, thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.